All right, quick picture for you. A mid-market B2B SaaS vendor loses a $60,000 ARR deal. The buyer's churn is not the issue. It was a missing onboarding flow. That flow kept showing up in repeated support tickets and search queries, but it never made it into the roadmap. If you can hear the frustration in my voice, good, because that avoidable loss is exactly why we're here today. Let's talk about this.
Let's dive in. Today, we're walking through a 5-step sprint-ready method so you can turn the signals already living in your search logs and support system into fast revenue experiments. By the end of this episode, you'll be able to run a 2 to 6 week pilot that targets activation points and measures real lift.
Step 1. Capture the signals safely. Where do you pull them from? Search Console and on-site search logs. Your support ticket exports, Zendesk or Intercom, product analytics funnels like Mixpanel or Amplitude, and session snippets from replay tools like FullStory or Hotjar. Export the top queries, the tickets mentioning onboarding steps, and a handful of anonymized session snippets around the same user flows.
Quick privacy readout you can use on air or with the team. We only export anonymized, aggregated signals, no names, emails, or other direct identifiers. And we retain these exports for a short, defined window for the pilot. If anything looks sensitive, route it to legal or privacy for review. The show notes include an anonymization and retention checklist you can follow.
Step 2 is intent clustering for onboarding stages. This is where you map signals into buyer stage and activation moment. Create simple tags: activation, retention, monetization. Then add intent themes: first-time setup, billing confusion, feature map, integration help. That one tagging pass takes an afternoon for the top 200 rows and gives you a signal map you can act on.
One-step tagging task: assign each row 2 things, stage and theme, and mark whether there's a direct path to conversion if fixed. This is the raw material for prioritization. If you tag right, the high-impact work jumps out without a huge debate.
Step 3. Scoring. Here's a 3-row sample scoring table read aloud so you can visualize it immediately. Row 1. Issue: new users stuck during the first run setup. Volume score, 8 out of 10. Conversion proximity, 5 out of 5. This sits directly on the activation path. Engineering effort, 2 out of 10. A small front-end tweak. Weighted result, high priority. Final score, roughly 6.5 on our scale. This is the kind of thing you pilot first.
Row 2. Issue: request for an advanced reporting toggle that only power users ask for. Volume 3 of 10. Conversion proximity, 2 of 5. It's not on the main activation funnel. Engineering effort, 5 of 10. A moderate build. Final score, low priority. Put this on the backlog for later, not the experiment list.
Row 3. Issue: billing page confusion during trial. Volume 5. Conversion proximity 4. Engineering effort 3. Final score, medium priority. This is a candidate for a small, testable fix, like clarifying a label or adding a contextual help snippet.
Make the threshold simple. Score above 6, move to pilot immediately. Score 4 to 6, run a lightweight experiment if low effort. Below 4, deprioritize or add to longer-term roadmap. Critically, use a conversion proximity multiplier so high volume alone doesn't dominate prioritization. Volume is important, but proximity to conversion should carry more weight.
Step 4. Design fast revenue experiments. Think low-code onboarding tweaks, single contextual help snippets, brief setup videos, and content microtests that target the exact query text you saw. Each pilot should have a single hypothesis, a short window, and measurement hooks, UTMs for the content pieces, and a specific event and product analytics for the onboarding step.
Set concrete KPI targets before you launch. Aim for a 10 to 20% lift in their relevant organic clicks on content-driven experiments, or a 3 to 6 percentage point uplift in trial-to-paid conversion for onboarding experiments within a 2 to 6 week validation window. If you can't agree on targets, don't launch. That's how pilots become vague feature requests.
Step 5. Measurement and governance. Decide who owns the pilot. the stop and rollback rules, and the validation period. Example stop rule. If the experiment hasn't moved the event rate by at least half the target within 2 weeks, stop, iterate, or roll back. Ownership keeps experiments from lingering as half-finished tickets.
Also, document required engineering feasibility notes up front. Frame the pilot as time-boxed validation, not a sprint rewrite. That reduces expectations of a full product commitment and keeps engineering time reasonable.
Let's replay the micro case. That $60K ARR loss was a first-run setup gap, lots of queries and tickets pointing to the same friction. If they'd captured signals, clustered them to the activation stage, scored the issue as high priority, and run a 2-week onboarding tweak pilot with the right event tracking, that deal likely converts. The expected ROI is immediate. Small dev effort versus a lost contract. The trade-off is almost always worth testing.
Trade-offs to call out. Pilots need clear scope so they don't become feature projects. And while volume is tempting, always balance it with conversion proximity and effort. Finally, protect user privacy. The checklist in the show notes gives a prescriptive anonymization workflow so you don't accidentally export PII.
Artifacts and next steps. We've put a free DIY scoring template and a prioritization checklist in the show notes. Use those to run your first pilot. If you want an optional, faster path, Thinkit Media can help run a short pilot as an accelerator, but no pressure. The DIY checklist is free and designed for teams to execute themselves.
Single immediate step you can run today: export the top 200 onboarding queries and support tickets, anonymize them per the checklist, and do a one-pass tag for stage and theme. That will give you the top candidates to score and pilot this sprint.
Before we go, quick governance reminder. Appoint an owner. Set your 2 to 6 week validation window and agree stop rules. Then rerun promotions on anything that moves the needle. And if you liked the framework, subscribe so you don't miss the templates and future episodes where we deep dive into experiment designs.
One final ping. The show notes include the anonymization checklist, scoring template, and a compact experiment launch checklist. Export, anonymize, tag, score. That's your sprint. I hear you. This is practical and fast. Most definitely. Go try this week.
Okay, take that first export and let it drive your next sprint. Thanks for listening, and remember, let's talk about this.